In this video, I'm going to challenge myself to make a lamp using only surface modeling and without making a single sketch. So to start off, I'm only going to be using stuff from this curve tool in the ribbon, and then I'm also going to be using stuff from the surface tool, surface ribbon tools. Okay, so to start off, I have a general idea of what I'm going to be making for this. It might be a little bit tricky though. We'll see if I can actually do it the way I want. I'm actually going to first start off by defining a plane at the origin. I'm not going to do any offset here. That'll be just for making sure I visually have something that I can reference off of. Okay, and the trickiness starts with using these points or making these lines and curves and stuff without making sketches. So believe it or not, you don't actually need sketching for some stuff. I'm not going to say sketching isn't useful for a lot of things, but in this case, I'm going to see if I can do it without. So right now I'm just using this line tool within curve to set up the base of this lamp here. It's going to be kind of a triangular base. I guess it looks a little bit like the McLaren logo a bit. Not really. Anyways, this is now a closed profile here, and I can even yeah, that's good. And then I'm actually, you know what, let's make this a little bit more complicated. That's a profile. I'm going to make a curve here, an arch on this, on the XZ plane, which is perpendicular to the one I just made. And I'm going to set up 2 points, and ooh, that's not good. Use the other plane for that. Perhaps I actually, yeah, I'm going to have to, I think I have to click on that. Ooh, man, this is going to be tricky. My biggest fear for this little challenge, learning challenge I thought of was making sure everything is on the right plane. So I think I'm going to have to use planes a lot to make this work. Like planes, I define myself using this datum plane tool. So NX knows what plane I want to use. So I'm going to go back into this arch tool. 3-point arch is what I want, I believe. I'm going to go here and select, I hope, no, that did not work. Okay, so right now it's way over there. Let me see if there's a better way I can do this. Support plane. Okay, that's cool. You can select the plane. That makes everything a lot easier for me. So I'm going to select that as the plane here. And my space mouse got way messed up. Oh man. Okay, so that's the plane we're going to use. And then I'm going to quickly draw out 3 points. That's not how I was expecting it to go. I'm going to drag this around a little bit. And my idea for what this lamp will look like is it's going to have this triangular base here that's going to be arched a bit. And I'm going to use this arch to make a surface and then cut out that surface using this triangular starship looking thing. And that'll be the base of the lamp here. But now we have our, oh man, we have, oh no, did I open? I did not open up Sketch. We have this arch here. I'm going to extrude that into a surface. So I'm going to select that. Let's say this is very offhanded and not technically good modeling practices because I'm not defining dimensions for stuff, but I'll make that into a surface like so. And then the next thing I was thinking is I'm going to take this triangular profile thing. I'm going to use the curve, not intersection rather. Instead of intersection, project curve. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on this triangular section, click on all of them real quick, and then have it project onto this arched surface here using just a plain vertical vector. And what that'll do is it'll take, it's a little bit hard to see, it'll take this profile and practically make a shadow on this curved surface and directly vertically bring down that profile until it hits that surface there. So I can go ahead and hide these lines here. And just to keep things neat, I'm going to create a feature group of this stuff. Call it baselines there. I'll drag in all of these lines here to make it a little bit more organized. Okay, that's good. Okay, so that's now what we're at here. Now that that's there, I'm going to go into surface and I'm going to do, let's see, I think it might be trim sheet. Let's see, boundary, I'm going to select the boundary to be that projected curve here, and if I hit that, it'll discard the rest and just leave us with this this new surface here that we trimmed down. Okay, from there I'm going to now work on like the vertical aspect of the lamp. I don't know what you would call that, maybe an arm perhaps. But for that, I'm going to go back into curve, and then I'm going to imagine this really nice sweeping arm feature that'll be multi-dimensional. So we're actually going to use a studio spline here, and going down to setting drawing plane. There you go. Constrain to plane. Keep things easy for me, I'm going to constrain it to plane so I have a little bit more control. And I'm going to reference off of this surface so it isn't floating off into space a little bit. I'm just going to draw something out here. Very Bob Ross type. I'm getting the very sneaking suspicion this is going to look like some sci-fi demon monster by the end of this. But there's our spline here. Let's say I wanted to go over to the right and then arch over to the left, so have a little bit of multi-dimensionality to it. Let's see if I can do that. Let me think about that. Okay, so I decided I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting here. I'm going to try to bring this spline from just being in 2 dimensions to hopefully 3 here. To start, I'm going to use this YZ axis or plane here, and I'm going to define another studio spline and constrain it to that plane. So I'll select that, and I'm going to try to select the endpoint of the previously defined spline. Yeah, that's the word. And I'm going to just bring it up here. And then let's see, I'm going to try to drag that point to be on that one. Let's have this arch up a little bit here. Okay, cool. So we now have 2 splines here that have the same, roughly the same, or the same start point, and then they end in the same point. If you look at it from this way as well. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is extrude that out to make it a surface. Again, I'm going to make it symmetric as well. We're just going to use this as kind of another tool that'll help us build out what we're trying to do. Let's see, and then if I project, if I go to, let's see, if I go to curve, then you know what? I'm going to extrude this original spline as well, and we're going to use intersection curve. Yeah, we'll extrude that a bit. And actually, this is, yeah, that might not work. Yeah, that won't work because we have a little bit of weird overlapping here. I'm going to go back and edit this secondary spline here and bring it up a bit. So is that what I want? Sure, let's roll with it. Okay, so now we have two intersecting sheet bodies created by these two splines. I'm going to go into curve and then intersection curve here. I'm going to select both of them. Oh, I did the old thing where I selected both of them instead of moving on to the second prompt. So do that, and then I'm going to press OK. If I hide these two sheet bodies, we'll be left with this let me see, where is it? I think it's this one, this new curve here, and you actually can see that there's a little bit of an extra part of it. We can get rid of that in a little bit, but we're only going to be using this part of it. But one thing I do want to make sure I do is bring it over so it's centered. So ultimately the light will be centered with this base here. So let me hide some of these other splines that I don't necessarily want. Or actually, I'll keep that one because that'll be useful. And then let's find a way to get rid of this extra part that was generated because these two bodies intersect each other on this side, which is what we want, and then also a little bit over here, which is not what we're after. So let's do that real quick. Okay, after messing around for a little bit, I found a way to do it. It's not the prettiest, I'm sure there's probably a better way, but this is the one I came up with in the moment. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use a plane, and I'm going to have it at a distance from this vertical one. And the idea is we want this new plane to be in between this through curve, or this intersection curve that we want to keep, and this little bit here that we want to get rid of. So that looks about right to me. And then we're going to go into this trim curve command in curves. We're going to select that little guy there. We're going to choose the bounding object, type to plane. We're going to select the plane we just made. And since I clicked on that, I'm going to keep it as discard. And once we do it, it's not going to go away, but over here it's going to, we can individually select this curve, and then we can delete it from there. I think that'll work. I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. Anyway, our next task was to bring this endpoint, have a part of the curve go from here and then along to the center line as we defined it. Hopefully that'll make it look a little bit more pretty. So I'm going to go into Arch, and let's see, let's see, tangent. I'm going to select the start point as tangent. I really don't know how this is going to work. Yeah, it's going to be rough. I think I might be better off doing a spline here. Ooh, you know what? I have a better way. I'm going to use some of these bridge tools. But this bridge tool is pretty powerful. I'll do a little showcase right here. I can select the endpoint of two curves, and it will create a nice little arch, or nice little conic, I believe, some type of curve that connects the two of them and leaves you with a nice continuous and smooth curve. You can even have that bridge follow the curve profile here if you wanted to as well. There's a setting for that. Right now it goes straight and stays on one plane. You can change that to be to not be constrained by a singular plane here. So let's use that. I'm actually going to trim back this curve a little bit. And instead of using that tool, I think I'll use a curve length to shorten it. So I'll select that, and then I will drag back this curve to be, let's say, about here. And what it'll do is make it a little bit hard to see, but it'll create a, I don't like how that intersection curve section is there. I can hide that intersection curve, and we're left with that new shortened curve that I just made with this curve length tool. Okay, cool. So that's about right. And let's say I wanted to make a bridge here, but actually we need something to bridge to. So we have this end of the bridge, but if I make a bridge to here, it's going to do the thing where it did when I first showed the tool. It's going to have it arch in such that it's tangent to this curve profile here, which isn't necessarily what I want. I want it to be, I still want it to follow this kind of arching forward. I guess it's a little bit hard to describe here, so let me just do it. I'm going to use an arch here. I'm going to constrain the plane to be this vertical one here. And I'm going to select the endpoint of this spline and just very roughly draw something out. That'll be fine. Then I'm going to hide that spline, and we're left with two curves, and this is where I'm going to make the bridge from. So I'm going to make a bridge from here. I'm going to middle mouse click to go to the next prompt. I'm going to select there, and we have this really cool now. This is a really cool tool because we have a now it's creating a spline to go in between the two, and we can even adjust what it looks like by pulling these out. And it's also outside of a singular plane here, which is interesting as well. I probably won't showcase all these tools because that deserves its own video, so I'll just leave it the way it is. So this will be like the base profile for this little lamp here that we're making. And let's go ahead and I'm going to make a plane at the end of this arm. I've been referring to it as an arm. It's definitely not an arm, but the arm of the lamp. I'm going to make a plane at the very end of it, and for that I'm going to do an on curve plane, and it has an offset. I'm going to get rid of that offset, and let's say arc length %, or no, through point would probably be the best. And I can specify the point to be, I'm going to set that point to be at the very edge, or the endpoint rather, the endpoint of that curve. So that's good. I'm going to press OK. Now we have a point or a plane at the end of this curve that defines the shape of this lamp looking thing. And from there, I'm going to make a circle. I'm going to make a circle here. And I'm going to use that point, that center, I guess the endpoint of that profile to define, to define the center of my circle. And let's set the radius here. I actually want to be a little bit precise here. Let's set it to be 0.2. Oh man, not 2, 0.2. No, let's do 0.1. 0.05. That looks better. And then, can I make it a full? Oh yeah, I can make it a full circle by clicking that full circle on the limits. So there we go. That's cool. Oh, that is also not the plane I wanted. So I'm actually going to go back in there and change the plane it's constrained to. Instead of automatic plane, I'm going to select the plane to be that. So it'll automatically flip it to be on that plane I defined right there. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to sweep that circle along this profile that we defined earlier to create a nice little support system for whatever lamp lighting we use. I'm going to select the guide as that profile we defined earlier, and that seems good to me. So that looks pretty cool. And let's say we want to add a little bit more dimension to this base here. Right now it's just a singular surface. We're going to have to do a little bit about that to make it into something we could eventually machine, manufacture, what have you. So to do that, I'm going to imagine it as being, still maintain that curvature. So perhaps I do an offset surface to use the same curvature and the same profile, but to give it a little bit of thickness, and then I can go through and create the surfaces that define the size of the lamp. Maybe I do something fun in there as well, and then sew it all together to create what I'm after. So let's go through and execute that. So I'll do offset surface, and I'll select this triangular base here, and it will pretty much make a copy of that surface at a distance away, at an offset away from our original. It's very similar to offset curve within sketching. Let's say I want to make the base 0.5 inches thick, like that. Cool. And now let's say I actually want to make it look a little bit weird. I want this sharp triangle, or this sharp corner on the bottom side of the base, to be more rounded, much more rounded, in fact. I'm going to go into curve, and then I'm going to go into, let's actually not do arch, let's do a conic. I think a conic might look pretty cool, in fact. So I'll do a general conic. I'm going to select the corners of this bottom surface that I just made with the offset. I'm going to select both. Ooh, start point. Oh, it has interior. I'm going to skip to the end point here since I already have it loaded up. And then interior point, that might be a little bit tricky. I don't really know what that'll look like. Ooh, okay. I'm just going to randomly click then. We'll see what it looks like. Points are not coplanar, which, okay, that makes sense. Ooh, that might be tricky if they have to be coplanar. I don't know. Okay, we're not going to do a conic like that. I think I have a better way that we can make it work. So to do that, I'm actually going to make another body here. I'm going to still use a conic. I'm going to use the general conic, and I'm going to constrain to plane, and then I'm going to specify this bottom plane here. I'm going to do the same start and end point as well. Cool. And then the interior points, I don't know how that'll look. Ooh, parent body is missing. Don't know what the parent body is. Maybe I get rid of associative. Interesting, it just got rid of it. Okay, well, we'll do it a different way. That's fine. I'll do a arch here. I'll use the endpoints, and then it's going to do an automatic plane. I'll select the plane like I did before. I'm going to select there. Ooh, that 3-point arch. Yeah, let's do a 3-point arch. And then I'm going to deselect all this stuff. Oh man, can I deselect? Oh, okay, I'll restart. Okay, 3-point arch. Sorry this part of the video is taking a little bit longer. I'm very much so figuring this stuff out as I go along. or at least like what I'm doing. I have no clue what I'm doing. Ooh, okay. Oh, full circle, that's why. Cool. Okay, that looks fine. That looks good. Except, ooh, interesting. Okay, cool. That'll probably do for now. That might be something we work on a bit. I think that isn't necessarily in the place I want it to be. Let me just drag that to be at the corner here. Yeah, perfect. Cool. Okay, that's better. I'm now going to extrude this up a bit. Yeah, I'm going to extrude this up a bit. That's fine. I'm going to hide that surface. Hide that surface there. Oh man. Oh geez. What happened? Oh, I did not hide it. I went into it. Okay, that'll do. And, you know, we have a little bit of artifacting, which I'm sure will be quite the pain to deal with in a little bit. But the general idea I have here is I'm going to create a surface that fills in this little void here. So let's see how we can do that. If I go to fill surface, is it going to be easy enough where I can just quite simply do it? Probably not. No, it's going to have those discontinuities. All right, here's what I'll do instead. I'm going to go into curve. I'm going to take this triangular corner profile almost, and I'm going to project that onto this curved extrusion surface. So let's do project curve. I'm going to take both of these. Actually, you know what? I think a better way to do it might even be a law extension. And I have a video about law extensions. They're pretty useful for bringing out the edges of a surface to make them longer. Interesting. So they're intersecting a bit there. I don't think that's necessarily an issue. Let me change that to be 0. Ooh, 180. Okay. You know what? This is workable. This is workable. A lot of this stuff is trial and error and just seeing what works and what doesn't. You know, that's part of the deal here. So I'm even just playing around with boxes that I think might make sense, might help. So I'm practically I'm just dragging out the edges of these of this surface to go past this this curved extrusion. And in fact, I'm going to go into let's see. Interesting. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to use it. Law extend. I'm going to use extend sheet. That might even be easier. Let me click on those two. I'm going to pull it out. It's going to follow the nice curvature that I want, which is good. So it's doing a better job than law extend by just imagine you originally made that triangular section bigger. It's doing that as well. And then the limit is going to be until selected. I'm going to select that curved extrusion there, and perfect. That's exactly what I was imagining. However, we do have a little bit of do we? Maybe we don't have a little bit of inconsistencies and discontinuities. I thought those little bits that were popping out might be an issue, but maybe not. Okay, so that was basically what I was after. That was a very convoluted and roundabout way of doing it, but you know, if you think things through better earlier, you might have a better better set of steps to follow. But okay, we're left here. We have two sheets that are, two sheet surface bodies, whatever, that are offset from each other a little bit. I'm going to go through and use the through curves command to make surfaces that join them together. So ultimately we can sew them together into a solid body. I have another video about through surfaces in case you want to read up a little bit on it. It's a more complicated tool, I'd say. So it's something you should get familiar with, because there's a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of finagling or messing around that needs to happen with through curves. Like for now, right now, I have this really large valley almost between in the surface that connects the two that I want to smoothen out, and I can do that by using this this by points alignment command and dragging these points around to get it to be in a place that in a way that I desire. So it's almost like sculpting, making sure the shapes are how you want them, especially with all this organic stuff. A lot of it is up to the designer and doesn't really have dimensioning. Like, sure, you can add in the percent of this arc length that you want this point to be at, but it's a little bit harder to dimension than typical solid modeling, which could be a downside of it. Okay, so that's one side. Looks good to me. This is going to be quite a weird looking lamp. I'm going to click the wrong tool there. Curve. I'm going to do that a few more times, 2 more times to be precise, to build up the rest of the sides of these lamps. Ooh. And that's the error you get if you select two different curves without making a new section. So I'm going to click on one, middle mouse click on another, and then that's pretty much right on the money what we want. And I'll do the same for the other side. Oh, I did the same thing again. It's getting a little bit late. I'm getting a little bit sick of NX. So I'm going to make mistakes. But that is again what we want, and we're left with a base with all the sides defined. And now we can sew it together to create a solid body. However, I want to show a few more tools for surface modeling before I do that. I want to keep that as a set of surfaces instead of a solid body. Okay, let's go up here and let's make God help me, let's make a light bulb. Yeah, let's make a light bulb. Let's make a really weird looking light bulb. I'm going to go into curves. I'm going to go into circle, and I'm just going to make an arc circle from center. I'm going to select the center of that little sweep that we did. I'm going to make it a full circle. This will be like the base of our light bulb here. Oh man, I did not select the automatic plane, or I did not select the right plane. That'll be the plane. How big did we make that? Way too big is the answer. Way too big. How do I enter in the radius? Okay, we're gonna freehand it. Okay, so that'll be the base of our light bulb. I'm not going to bother with surfaces here. I'm just going to extrude it straight up. Oh man, this is going to be a weird looking lamp. Okay. Okay, cool. And then let's say, light bulbs aren't really pure circles or pure spheres. They're kind of a bulb shape per the name. So let's build in that bulb shape into it. For that, I'm going to make another datum, and let's make this datum using this datum right here and then using the point as defined by the center of the circle we just made, which we can. Ooh, can we do that? I think we can do that. We can find a way to do that. So datum plane, let's do curve and point maybe. Okay, I found the way to do it. So datum plane, we're going to do through point and direction. And again, a lot of this stuff is just messing around and figuring out what works for what you're trying to do. I'm going to select that center as the point and then the vector as that way, which is, that way. Yeah, a lot of this is just messing around and trying things until something sticks, and then sometimes not even questioning why it worked and just going with it and leaving that question for a later day and just moving on. All right, so now we have a plane we can work off of. Again, I'm not allowed to use sketches, so I'll go to curve here and let's do a studio spline. And then I'm going to constrain it to the plane we just made, like so. And then let's see, I'm going to grab onto the edge of that extrude. And then I'm going to be very artsy with how I define that, define this spline here. And then I'm going to drag this around, drag it around. Yeah, I'm going to drag it around. I'm not going to be too careful because I have a way I can actually maneuver things a little bit to make it look better afterwards, but I want it to look something like a bulb. That, you know what? That looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that profile. The idea is I'm going to make this profile of the bulb, and then I'm going to eventually revolve it. I'm going to revolve it around this whatever the center of the bulb will be, and then I'll create the bulb, I don't know. Anyway, so that looks good. Although I'm guessing, my suspicion is that it might not. Oh, you know what? I'll take it. I will take it. I'm going to revolve that. I'm going to unite it with that little base there to make it solid. That looks like that looks like a light bulb to me. I'm happy with it. I'll even throw in a little bit of a chamfer there. Yeah, why not? I'm gonna throw in a little chamfer. That's like the terminal for the light bulb. You know what? Yes, that I'm happy with that. Oh God, it's horrendous. It looks so ugly. But it's beautiful because I learned from it. Okay, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We can fix it. We can fix it. I don't like how there's just a thin line that goes into this and doesn't really look like it's real. Not that anything looks like it's real here, but let's fix that a little bit. I'm gonna add in a little bit more. I'm saying a little bit, a lot. Not even a little bit. I'm gonna add in a base extension here that can hold on to that line, that little wiry frame looking thing, and make it look at least plausible. Plausible is what I'm aiming for at this point. I almost opened up the sketch creator. I can't do that. I'm going to go into curve and I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go into curve. I'm going to create a few funky things. Let's do that. I'm going to create a few funky things. The first one is going to be let's actually see if we can do an ellipse. I think we might be. We can't do an ellipse. That's a shame. Let's do another circle. Unfortunately, I'm running out of tricks here. I'm going to select the plane to be this bottom plane. I'm going to select our center point. Oh man. The center point to be that guy right there. That's good. Oh, this is lagging a little bit here. And we're just creating some type of support system here in the form of a circle. And as you can see, the circle is still on the plane. It isn't up here where I might want it to be. That's okay. I have a plan for that. What I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to extrude it out. I'm going to keep it as a sheet. So I'm going to turn it from a solid to a sheet to bring it up here. I'm actually going to extend it out a lot. I'll show you what I'm planning to do with it. But the first thing I want to do is trim it down a little bit. I'm going to hide a few sides and even this bottom here to give me access to this side of the cylinder that I just made. What I'm going to do is going to go into surface and trim sheet. I'm going to cut away this half of that cylinder. So the target is going to be the cylinder. Notice how I'm clicking on the part that I want to get rid of. That'll come in handy in a second. The boundary is going to be this surface here, the top of this base, the lamp base. And then the region, you can either keep it or discard it, get rid of it, delete it, whatever. And the select region is defined by the thing you clicked on from your target. So since I clicked on the part I want to get rid of, I'm going to change that to discard. And what that'll do is it'll just poof, gone, disappeared, perfect. So that's what we want. And I'm even going to build in a little bit of a hole here for this base triangular surface for later on. So I will go into trim sheet again. I'm going to select this triangular surface as the new target and then the boundary as that guy. I think I probably didn't select it within this circle, so I'm going to select region as keep. And I was right, I probably selected it out here or something, so I want to keep that region, discard the other stuff. So now we have two trimmed down surfaces, and we have this new little cylinder here. Obviously, I'm not going to leave it like that. I want to make it a little bit more smooth, a little bit more, I don't know what art style, what architectural movement this is a part of, but I want to make it more like that. Maybe Art Deco. Maybe that's what I'm after. So to do that, I'm going to, I don't know, I'm thinking a nice little curve here to bring us home. I'm going to do another, let's do a studio spline. Why not? I'm going to do a studio spline to define that curve. We'll make the constraint plane to be that one, since that's what I'm going to be sketching off or drawing off of. Then I'm just going to define a few points here. Perfect. I might even mess with it a little bit. Beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect. That's exactly what I was after. And then I'm just going to you know what? I think I can do it a different way than extrude. I've been extruding a lot. Let's see if I can extend, perhaps. Maybe we can extend it. Can I? No, I can't. Never mind. I'm just going to extrude it. Okay. Extrude this as usual here. Symmetrical. That's fine. And then I'm just going to trim this sheet, trim this cylinder to get it down to just this area here. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click the boundary as that guy, and then selected region. I clicked up here, so I want to get rid of that. So discard. Bye-bye. Going to hide that. We're left with this guy. Nice. I want to fill that in, of course. So I'm going to go into more. I'm going to go into fill surface. That's in my recently used. You might have to go down a little bit to get to it. And then now I'm going to select that as my boundary and click OK. Cool. All right. Let's get to sewing here and make this a solid body. So sew is a tool that can, it's like it says, it sews together surfaces. And if you sew enough of them together to create a closed surface that is sewn together, that'll automatically generate a body as long as you have this body type solid as the output. So right now I'm selecting the target as this little top surface here that I just made. I'm just going to go around and select all of the surfaces that make up and enclose the base, even the ones that I hid here. Ooh, even the ones that I hid, like that one back there, and let's see, and this bottom one. And then once I select OK, this is now a solid body. It's a little bit hard to tell, but let me do it the right way and show you through edit section. Oh, I got rid of it very quickly. Ooh, did it not make? Oh, please tell me it worked. Oh no. Okay, something went wrong with this. So did not create a solid body. It should create a solid body when you do that set of sewing. Sometimes if you have little bit of gaps throughout your the thing you're trying to sew, it won't properly sew, because if you have gaps, oh, there it is, there's the gap. If you have gaps like this, your body isn't fully enclosed, and thus there's no body that can be formed out of it. Like, sew will not interpolate this little gap and automatically fill it in. You have to go in and manually do it, and it becomes a little bit of pain. So I'm just going to very simply use the through curve here and fill it in. Or actually, no, I'm going to use full surface. You have to use full surface sometimes to patch in areas like this that form. Okay, cool, and that disappears, which is what we want. I can even go up and move this above here, and this, so once I click on this little guy that I just made, it should create a solid body. I can double check that it's a solid body by going into the clip section, and it's still not a solid body. Oh man. Oh geez. What happened? What happened? There are more gaps here. Way back when I was worried about the corners of this being problematic, this is what I was ultimately worried about here. Is this type of deal. Just kind of moving around, trying to see if there's anything that looks wrong. You know what? There might be settings within. Oh, did I not select that? No. Okay, I did. Let me see if there's some things I can do within sew to. Oh, did I? That work? Let's see. Oh, okay, that worked. All right, cool. I think what I did is I set that as the target, that little gap thing as the target, instead of that top piece. So that top piece wasn't selected when that was selected, and then I went through and I made that the target, and then that deselected, so I reads. Anyway, cool. All right, so let's bring us home here. Let's union them together and make another union with our light bulb that is quite literally hanging on by a thread. And then let's pretty it up a little bit with assigning a feature color to stuff. Let's make the base, I'm feeling like a black here. Okay, cool. That at least looks decent now. because the black hides all the insane design choices for it. And then for this, let's do like a gray. Maybe we make this a modern piece here. And then the light bulb feature, let's make the light bulb itself a nice luminescent yellow, like that. That looks good. Okay. And then this gray part, I'm gonna select all the features here. Yeah. So and let's make this another gray. Be a little bit darker. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to hide the rest of them, rest of the junk that isn't or solid bodies. So get rid of all the shape bodies, get rid of all the curves and datums, and we're left with that, the lamp, I guess. If you watched all this, I truly salute you. You are quite the trooper, having to deal with. Oh man, it is even centered. Yeah, I salute you. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. I really do. What a waste of time if you didn't. Yeah, DM me on Slack and tell me if you watched this all the way through, so I can put together a little round of applause for you next time I see you. Okay, yeah, there you go. There's a lamp using only surface modeling tools and no sketches.